Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic 2006. So we have finished the game. How do you now get back to the stuff which I have had to miss because of bad pacing? Well, you just select the episode again, not the trials, but the whole episode, and then some things that have not worked before now miraculously do. You get plopped down here, and then we can go back and see if something has changed. The door's now open, so now we can go to the new city from here, and the other door to the jungle is now also open, and that's the only difference basically. So this guy is still here, and that means that we are now like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, I don't quite know the time frame it took for completing aquatic base in the future of the past which we traveled to, and it makes no fucking sense. Okay, let's keep going with the actual mission. So this is about Mels, which is not about Mels, it's just a weird backstory. And this is one of the better missions in the game. I really like this kind of mission, which is basically, in this case, like an expansion of the Winder of a Shoemaker mission. Let me just fix the blood sky. Okay, let's ignore that. But you know, longer and better, because there is only one terrible air control segment, and it's at the very start. And otherwise, it takes you through all of Soleanna, where you have to do stuff like this, go through the rooftops, find the next spring, and generally the way the rings spawn in, as I've mentioned before, guides you along a linear path which you just have to complete as quickly as possible, and then you take the next spring and go on the next roof and collect the next rings. It's pretty basic, but there is enough variety. Like here, for example, they have to do some actually challenging platforming to not fall off and be a little bit careful. That's what I do here, in order to complete it well enough to get a high rank, because some of these actually get quite tight. Of course, you could always use the red gem, slow down time, which means the timer in this instance, because you're not relying on anything being in the correct place at the correct time, and have a very easy S rank for all of these. And that's true for every S rank so far. You can always just go back and replay older levels and hold down the R trigger all the time with the red gem selected, and everything is dandelions. And if there is a mission that requires a high time bonus, you can cheat the system a lot. But it all depends a little on not dying, and of course, if you do the S rank first try, then you get a lot more rings, and then you can actually afford all of these gems later in the game. And so I opted to do them as early as possible, and also to show off that it is indeed possible. You do not need those gems for the S ranks. I didn't really cheat Aquatic Base, for example, like once. Yeah? But generally, it's fine to do them. They work. And I hope they will continue to work for me, because I haven't really tried S ranking silver so much. Anyway, let's get one of the gems that is missing. There's only one more missing. What does this do? It activates a Mark Speed burst. Sonic is now super fast, like in the Mark Speeds, and it's actually quite nice to get around town. This is a perfect time to get this gem. I would prefer to have it earlier actually, but this is one of the few gems that's actually kind of balanced, because if you bonk against a wall, then you fall down and it's terrible. So you don't really want to use this in the levels all the time, but there are some stretches where it's welcome, and you can chain this into other moves if you're really good, a speedrunner or so, and you can use it in town missions, like so. This guy here is a race. You can absolutely cheese this with various gems, of course, and in fact it is extremely simple. It's very simple. While he's doing the Naruto run, you can just force him to be extremely slow. Then there is this hidden thing here, which you really don't want to take actually, because it's extremely hard to control, and just running the other way is honestly faster and more controllable. But I'm using the blue gem, so I'm just like zooming along, and this is going to be extremely easy. And I'm going to show you an example at the very end that this is not free. It is extremely simple. You just run to the station. But if you don't know where the station is, then the signboarding is not perfect. You can get lost here, and then all of a sudden you realize that the time to S rank is something like 30 seconds. And I was pretty fast, you know, with the blue gem. And you can easily lose this, and we're going to see it at the end how I did lose it in a scrapped attempt. Sped up, of course, even more. I don't want to bore you. But that's Sonic Man, the legend. He's a bit infamous, of course. No need to really comment on that. I mean, obviously he's funny, but that's basically his sole appearance in Sonic's story. But we're going to see him again. Keep him in mind. in Silver's story. And it's going to be a little bit more interesting of a race in the sense that Silver is much slower than Sonic is, but you know, details. Anyway, let's get to the absolute worst town mission on console. Because this town mission here will involve, I haven't calculated it yet, you don't need to calculate, you can count with me, but it has 14 loading screens, something like this, and including the ones at the start, of course, and every time you want to restart it. And for every single one of these damn questions, you have to reload the entire thing over and over and over again. This is absolute torture if you're doing this on console. And also, what's really bad about this is not challenging in the slightest. It is, to be frank, bullshit. These arrangement of these boxes here is deliberately made to trap you. Like, can you see it? Can you really see how many boxes these are? No, you can't, because you don't know if one of them is resting on another or not. You can do it as I just demonstrated at the start. Quickly go there, break a few to see, okay, how much debris is flying around, or oh, there is one behind because I just kicked it away. You can, of course, slow down time and do that as well. And then here you can see, okay, this many physics objects. Yeah, this is how you would do this legit, quote unquote. I looked it up, of course. You'd be stupid not to, honestly. You never want to redo this. On console, this mission alone takes like 10 minutes because you have to load it and load it and load it. And it's still bad and dumb and boring here, but it's a far cry from how torturous this is to do on real hardware, which I did when I first played this game, and it is not fun, believe you me. It's about the same expression as this guy goes through, which is a nice touch, actually. I like that he gets madder and madder and madder as you solve his extremely simple 4, 7, 9, 9, 9 sequence. There you have it. That's the solution. Never ever think about this mission. Do not even risk getting too little of a time bonus. I think you have about a minute, so you have 5 more seconds per trial to try out and see things for yourself. But really, this is trial and error. Let's be honest here. You can figure it out, but if you make a mistake on the 4th one of these, then keep in mind you have to do all of the other stuff again from the start. It's total garbage. It's really bad. Anyway, still, these were the 3 easy missions. I'm saving here because now comes a hard one. It's in the jungle and we can finally, this door is open for normal exploration. We could have done this during the Kingdom Valley mission segment when we get teleported into the jungle, but that would have completely broken the flow and we could only have done that one. So that's a bit weird, isn't it? And this is actually town mission number 15, and there is 2 more, 16 and 17, and then 18, 19, 20 are the trials. So it makes absolutely no sense from the numbering, from the game's pacing, but yeah, whatever. So just for orientation, this is where the trials were, this is where Tropical Jungle entrance is, so you never have to explore this as Sonic, not at all. This is where the trials themselves are, and here is the one town mission in the jungle for Sonic. This one is extremely hard to find, and what we also have here is a shop. There is no reason for it to exist, but it's here, it's great, and you can keep it in mind because actually the reason for it to exist is later for the other characters. And I actually think Silver's shop is somewhere different, or is it Shadow's shop? We will see. Anyway, this one is actually story relevant. It plays into a thing that happens, because if you remember, you have to protect the lady in waiting, Anne, and not Sophia. So the idea is basically, from a lore perspective, that Eggman is chasing the wrong lady in waiting because they have the same NPC model. So I can see where he made the mistake. But it's a little bit easy to miss the implications of this because how long has it been since we did the other thing? And also, we are now after the game has already finished in a sense. So it makes no sense that a town mission that you can do at any point, basically, takes place before the aquatic base unlock. Or Tails' extra mission that makes no sense. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk about the mission. So this one here is actually a little bit janky to do because it expects you to stay with her. And as she keeps going forward, new enemies spawn in. But you might not notice that a lot of the enemies that spawn in are triggered by her being near the spawn point, because a lot of other enemies spawn in when Sonic gets close to them. So there is two conditions for enemies to spawn in, and also sometimes rings only show up if you kill a certain group of enemies, in this case the 3 robots that showed up when she got close to them. But if I go forward now, then I would encounter a few enemies, and we're going to see that, by the way, at the end, but not nearly as many enemies as are going to show up if you stay with her. So you can completely ignore her and just run to the end and kill all of the enemies there, and then she will just keep running forward. This will give you a good time bonus, but you will not win the mission with an S rank because you're missing thousands of enemies, as it feels like. All of these guys, all of these spikes for example, they would never spawn if you just keep running in front of her. And I mean, this is something where you would think you would clear the way, of course, and you would never notice it because you never see them spawning, because they don't. Because there is a maximum distance where objects are getting loaded into the game from Sonic to not overstress the poor engine too much. And this is why I'm waiting here, because I need her to trigger the enemies for me. And there are some in the distance that are already triggered. And you might be tempted to just keep running towards these enemies and kill them as quickly as possible, which I'm doing right now. But that does mean that behind us, enemies are going to spawn and already attack her. See? Here. And it's really a bit weird. I don't quite know what the mission actually wants you to do, and I suspect it's just badly programmed because, come on, it's this game. Yeah? But if you follow the script in a way, it's actually kind of nice, because this way you can get a gigantic combo bonus, 9,400 points, just from clearing out all of these waves. And there is a little bit of skill involved in identifying the leaders and only killing those, of course. I know that anti-gravity is the best for that. Because a homing attack can always go wrong. And you have to do this if you want to have the highest points. Here, for example, I make a bad homing attack because you want to kill the yellow one first, and that kills another group of enemies. And here you want to kill the flying one first because that kills another group of enemies. Radical! And again here. And this is actually quite nice. I really like this mission. If it worked well, I would like it even more, because it is quite hard to figure out exactly what you want to do. Here this ring box spawned because I killed those enemies. Killing the invisible one kills these guys. So the whole concept of the leader enemy that you want to take out first is in absolute full swing in this mission, and I really like the idea because it promotes paying attention. It's great from just a speed perspective in general, because that makes big combat segments into some sort of platforming and also a puzzle challenge, where you just have to figure out what is the enemy I need to hit to get rid of this entire problem at once. And that's also why I like in Aquatic Base the pillars which you have to hit to magnetize all of the enemies and kill them, because this is not about cheating the combat away, it is about making it as efficiently as possible, and that's good design in my opinion. And by the way, because of the high combo points, this is the only town mission in the game, and one of two, where you need 40,000 and not 30,000 points. So again, somebody was really thinking hard about how to make this into an actual challenge. And at the end I'm going to show you what happens if you just run ahead. I'm going to get 30,000 points, but it's not enough. And now, because I kept all of the rings here, as planned, I have exactly enough rings to buy the Thunder Shield, the red gem, the yellow gem, the final one. And it looks like this. This is the only way to get the shield effect in the entire game. There is no pickup for that. There is barely any invincibilities, but there is no shields. And now we have a shield that works similar to Thunder Shields that have been in Sonic games before. It does attract rings, and it protects you from one hit. It does not give you a double jump, but you have the purple gem for that. Another funny thing is that you can just keep activating the shield, and you can use, as we just saw, other gems while you have the shield up, because I don't know how it would have worked if it would have constantly drained the bar, which would make the most sense from a balancing perspective. But if you have trouble with S-ranking boss fights, then just constantly reapply the shield. If they keep hitting you with it, if they keep hitting you in the fight, then just use the shield all the time. It's fine. There are sadly no fun physics interactions with the shield and other objects. It just doesn't exist as far as the game is concerned. But it's nice to have. It's definitely a nice utility tool, and the second balanced gem in the game. Though yeah, the tornado attack is also fine. Like the white gem is barely useful for anything. The blue gem is a nice utility tool to get around. The tornado gem is nice to hit huge amounts of enemies at once. And the purple and the sky gem, they're completely broken, of course. Did I forget one? Yeah, the red gem. The red gem is also pretty damn broken, especially with infinite. Yeah. So the idea is now we know that this guy has the final ring, but we can't get it by talking to him. That will end the mission. Now let's try out the Thunder Shield, right? Because, I mean, there are rings here everywhere. That would be great to have a shield that can attract rings, but they were clever enough to disable that. The shield can't attract these rings, which is too bad, because it would have been a fun interaction, a nice way to cheese it. It just doesn't work. And there is an issue with this mission, and that is, oh yeah, I went a little bit off script here, which is something which I think is you would think that you can make this jump, but you can't, and you have to make it from above. And there is actually a failsafe. These springs here, they will get you back up on the roof, so that's nice. So I can now finish the mission, and I'm not like stuck forever, but I lost too much time for the S rank. So here's the good attempt now. But again, this is kind of a challenging mission, and the biggest issue I have with it though is that the rings on the rooftops, that just doesn't work at all. Sonic just keeps switching the plane he stands on, and it's absolutely terrible, and the camera doesn't work, and it's bad. And this one jump here is really bad, and it's really hard to get it right. After you've done it, the rest plays itself relatively easily. But again, you don't want to miss any of the springs, you don't want to go off script, and you have to be careful. If you fall down, you will have to look for a spring that gets you back up here, or you cheese it with the purple gem, but of course you can say that to literally every challenge in the entire game now that we have it. I'm sure you can do some nice shortcuts here as well. I could have jumped onto this roof, for example, but I like following the script here because it is a nice route that it gives us. It's different rooftops now, you can see that, than the ones that we went up before, and you finally get like a reason for the hub world being this big. And I mean, it's quite obvious that they stitched together these town missions from what they had. All of the pieces that were already there, they did make the hub world before, they make a racing course somewhere, they just put a few props down, and all of this was probably extremely easy to make in the grander scheme of things, and that's what they needed, because, you know, otherwise how would they have a game with content? But somebody placed another rainbow ring down here when they realized, oh, I don't have enough points in this mission, and I'm adjusting the time bonus like this, and it's like, no, I'm just gonna put another rainbow ring here, and now the points work perfectly. Somebody put a lot of effort into this. Undeserved? Maybe, I don't know. But somebody spawned this box here, made it so that the box that only appears when you have 99 rings explodes the sky, and then he drops the ring, and that happened all at once. I'm sorry for not showing it off properly, but I wanted to give it a blast as a finish. It's one or the other. And then you actually get the final ring, and it's a fun puzzle. And it's like, these missions, they could be so great in a better game, and the reputation they have right now is pointless filler, of course. Because you would think, I mean, this is Sonic 06, and then they put some extra stuff in there which nobody cares about. I think it's a crying shame, because this has effort put into it, and there is a lot of fun to be had, and there is also really bad ones. We saw at least one really bad mission here, and one completely thoughtless one, the Sonic Man one, which was fun, I guess, you know, but funny, not fun to play. But this one here is a great example of how a mission could be. The first one is a great example of how a fun mission can be. And if they had focused a bit more on that, would have been nice. Anyway, let's take stock for now. All of the gold medals. The last one in the line is the all 10 medals one. And here we now have an S rank on all town missions. So we finally got a single golden medal for all of the 20 S ranks we had to do, which is a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, this is how Sonic Man can go. I'm not slowing down time here because I want to be fair, quote unquote, and I took a little bit over 30 seconds, 5 seconds over, okay, and it's not enough time bonus, and that's the only thing you can do here. So this is not actually as free as it seems. It's that simple, but you have to be a little bit careful with the route, that maybe you will have to replay it if you want the highest ring amount and if you want to have the S rank. Alright, this is how the combat mission looks like if you just barge ahead. The start is similar, very similar, because of course, you know, these enemies spawn all the time and you are close to her. But here already I realized, wait, there are no enemies, I have to go back, why is nothing here? This is my first attempt, by the way. And some of them spawn here, like the entire End Brigade, but you would think that the enemies would now spawn and kill the poor girl, and everything is bad, and in a normally programmed game, they would punish you for jumping ahead like this. But this is Sonic 06. So these are only spawned because she is here now, finally, and all of the big combo guys, they are just not here, and she was never in danger from them. And that also means that we are missing at least 15,000 points just from them, and that means even if I have over 30,000 points, this is a D rank. And of course this ruined my plans a little bit to get the Thunder Shield, so yeah, this is a scrapped attempt. But anyway, I hope you liked this cleanup mission enough. I think that there was enough interesting content in it, and if you did like it, again, I would appreciate it if you gave me something back. Thank you very much for your attention.